Welcome to EP Daily. Today on the show we've got an all Star Wars episode, starting with the rundown.
Plus, Jose becomes one with the Force at the recent Star Wars celebration.
And then Jose has even more Star Wars with a look at the new Battlefront game. Also coming up, more Star Wars action with a look back at the last big Battlefront game, a review of the animated series Star Wars Rebels, and much more today on EP Daily. Brought to you by EB Games. I'm your host, Marissa Roberto, bringing you the latest in everything cool every single day. The Death Star plans are not in the main computer, but I found something else. It's called the Rundown. The Force Awakens wasn't the only new Star Wars movie shown off at the massive Star Wars Celebration event last week. Behind closed doors, Disney also unveiled the first official details on the Star Wars spin-off movie Rogue One. It will take place in the years before the first Star Wars film and follow the team of rebels who stole the top-secret Death Star blueprints, which play a prominent role in the original movie.
What have you done with those plans?
The main character, a badass rebel soldier, will be played by the Theory of Everything's Oscar nominee Felicity Jones, making this the first Star Wars movie with a female lead. Because it takes place in an era when the Jedi are all but extinct, the film's director, Gareth Edwards, wants it to have a less mystical and more realistic tone, which will help distinguish it from the main Star Wars movies. Rogue One will land in 2016. It's the first of many planned Star Wars spin-off films, all of which will be collected under the new Star Wars Anthology banner.
A little short for a stormtrooper.
Huh?
And you may have noticed that Rogue One takes place around the same time as another forceful new adventure, Star Wars Rebels. Disney has announced that the second season of the animated series will premiere this summer. This time around, familiar heroes and villains from the films will play a more prominent role, and there will also be more returning characters from the last animated show, The Clone Wars. Plenty of new characters will also be included to help expand the Star Wars universe. Star Wars Rebels Season 2 will premiere this summer. The first season recently wrapped up, and we'll have the review of it later in the show. That's it for the rundown. Very full of Star Wars. Now look at Jones. He is miming as though he really had.
To move your hips when you do this?
I don't think that's how it's done.
Star Wars dance.
No.
I did it. Done. Achievement unlocked.
All right, let's talk about the spin-off here, Rogue One. We've talked about this before because I'm excited about Felicity Jones being the lead in this movie.
The ladies are in charge these days. We've been watching Game of Thrones Season 5, and it looks like the ladies are on the rise, and it looks like they're on the rise in the Star Wars universe as well.
Well, it's just about time. That's
is
all I
about
have
time.
to say about that. It's about time. Gareth Edwards is directing. I hope that he does well with this. I didn't like Godzilla.
No,
but,
nobody did.
Some people did, which is why he got this job. But let's talk about Star Wars Rebels,
Yes.
because Vic and I reviewed, you're going to see the review actually for the first season
I've
of
already
Rebels.
seen it. I was with you when you shot the review.
Right, so I'm actually excited about this second season. I
Yeah.
love that it's a show for kids, but it's not. Adults can totally get into this and just fall into this world.
I don't know. I just don't know what part of the Star Wars universe where all of these adventures are kind of taking place. The one part that I wanted to be in was where Luke and Han and Chewie and Leia were all together, and this is a totally different part of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
I'm open to it because of the review I heard you guys do.
Yeah, well, it's still, I mean, there's still rebels that we're following. They're kind of like Robin Hood. They're stealing from the Empire and giving to those in need, which I absolutely love. I love their story. I love all their backstories. I love that Freddie Prinze Jr. is a voice actor in the show as well. And with the second season, we're going to see characters from Clone Wars, which is another fantastic show that you should watch as well. They're going to make an appearance in the second season. I know that it looks like it should be for kids, but trust me, everybody can watch this thing. Everybody can get into it. But this is not where the Star Wars train stops.
No, and I was kind of hoping that the Star Wars train was stopping. It's not. Jose is back, and he's got a full report from Star Wars Celebration.
I am here at Star Wars Celebration 7 in Anaheim, California, celebrating all things Star Wars. There's a new movie, there's a new game, there's new TV shows, there's all kinds of new stuff. Hell, I might even get a piece of cake, because why not? It's a celebration. One of the coolest parties of the year, Star Wars Celebration. Tell me about putting on an event like this and how it keeps growing every time you throw a new one.
Well, it's extremely rewarding to get to work on Star Wars Celebration because we're doing them for Star Wars fans. I like to call it Lucasfilm's love letter to Star Wars fans. When you're working on the event, you're thinking of all the great things we can show them, the great ways they can be involved, and I love it so much. It's a great thing to work on.
Chewie, we're home.
Tell me a little bit about your experience at Celebration, and what does it mean for you to get to come to something like this?
I love this. I mean, I have been to all but 2 celebrations since they started, and it's always such an amazing thing. There's nothing quite like it. I've gone to Comic-Con and I've gone to other conventions because of what I work and what I do, but to see everyone here unified by a single thing that they have in common, which is love for Star Wars, is so remarkable. The other thing that totally makes it unique is that fans really get involved in putting this show on. You see a lot of the most amazing things that will catch your eye here were created by fans, and I think Star Wars is the only universe that does that kind of thing.
What are you doing here at Celebration? Is there anything you can give us any lowdown on? Any secrets you want to tell us?
Well, let's see. Today I had a couple of panels, first of which was the real highlight. A buddy of mine and I, part of our hobby, because we're fans, right? We explore all the secrets of the Mos Eisley Cantina. That is the sets that they use when they filmed the movie back in the 70s. And we spend a lot of time looking at the creature masks that were used and all the extras that fill out that scene.
And how have you seen Celebration grow since the first one? I mean, the first one was in 1999, where we had a new Star Wars trilogy. Everybody was excited, but now there's another Star Wars trilogy beginning. How have you seen it grow since '99?
Well, I've worked on them since Celebration 2 in 2002, and Celebration 2 was a big show, and so was Celebration 3. When we wrapped Celebration 3, it was, we thought, the last celebration we'd do for a movie, but it was not the case. However, the fans love to get together, they love to see their friends, they love to celebrate Star Wars, so we kept having them, and they're really successful.
What does Star Wars mean to you?
Star Wars, to me, is just this place I could go to. It's more than a story, it's a destination. I mean, it's a place that I've been going to since I was a little kid. It's a galaxy full of people that I've grown up with, and it's a place that I know backwards and forwards, and I always love visiting, basically.
Fly Star Wars!
So that's it from Celebration. I am so excited for all the new Star Wars stuff coming out. I think Darth Vader is too. Maybe we'll see if we can't make him a little angry. Maybe he'll try to choke me to death. You want some of this, Vader?
Apparently, R2 and one of the Ewoks, was it Fudgy?
I think it might have been Fudgy.
Yeah, are now an item after a special late night.
And coming up, we've got more Star Wars Celebration for you. Hint, it features the word celebration. Back after this.
Welcome back to EP Daily. Hey, Scott, where were you when the latest Episode 7 trailer came out?
Oh, I know where you were.
Don't say it.
You were organizing your Lando Calrissian Love Doll collection, and by organizing, I mean kissing.
Oh, that's impossible.
And you know what else they said was impossible?
What?
That there would never be another Star Wars Battlefront game. They were wrong.
It has been a long time coming. Star Wars fans have been clamoring for a new Battlefront game, and DICE was the perfect company to put that together. We are talking about Star Wars Battlefront. Tell me what you guys plan on delivering with the first Battlefront game we've seen in years.
So what we're doing is we are allowing you to immerse yourself in your Star Wars battle fantasies. When you think back to Return of the Jedi, and what would it be like to ride on a speeder bike through the Forest of Endor, or what would it be like to tow cable an AT-AT on the icy planet of Hoth? These are the kind of experiences that we are going to bring to you as the player.
The fact that DICE is known for making some of the prettiest games ever seen with my eyes and many other people's eyes out there, how are you guys going to take the tech that you guys have mastered and bring that into the Star Wars world?
So really, there are two sides to this. First, there's the talent at the team. I mean, the people that we work with back at DICE that I work with are just fantastically amazing at what they do. But then we also have a great amount of tech that helps us to do this. The Frostbite engine is the pillar and the cornerstone of this to allow us to realize our vision. But then we also use photogrammetry techniques so that we can create photorealistic assets, as well as PBR, which is physically based rendering, which really allows us to bring this world and make it feel incredibly real.
thing I like about DICE is the fact that they will go out and create new technology when they're building new games, and it's always way farther than the tech that we've seen ever before. How do you guys find that to be a little challenging in, you know, creating all new photogrammic, what was it, the word you said?
Photogrammetry.
Photogrammetry, the new words. They're inventing brand new words. But how difficult is that to, you know, create new tech to make these games look as real as they do?
So photogrammetry isn't actually a new tech, but the way that we use it is special and unique to us. So we take loads of photos all around a particular object from every single angle so that we can create these photorealistic environments. And I have to call out to Lucasfilm. They've been incredible partners for us. They've given us access to the Lucasfilm archive, so we've been able to photo scan and do this with the original movie props. We've been to the actual locations where the films were made, and we have all the original sound bites, so we are creating the most authentic Star Wars experience that has ever been made to date.
Traditional Battlefront games have always been sort of third-person shooters. How are you guys going to take what you know and in the first-person world and bring that along with the third-person adventure as well?
Yeah, so third person was, I mean, it's really one of the most requested things that we've seen. I mean, we keep an eye on the forums and boards and posts, and we know that people want it. So it was incredibly important for us to have both first and third person, which you could swap between at any time. But of course, third person is new to us. It's a new challenge. And so we've spent a lot of time with our animators to create the perfect experience that you can seamlessly transition between the two.
What about creating the worlds within Star Wars? I mean, that's got to be a task that seems to be a little bit overwhelming because there's so much variety in the depth of the different layers of worlds we see in ice worlds and sand worlds. How are you guys going to make those seem authentic within the game?
So again, photo scanning is a fantastic way to do it visually. With all the original sound bites, we can do this from an audio perspective. And we have 4 planets that we are bringing to you. So we have Hoth, Endor, Tatooine, which you know and love from the movies. But we also have Sullust. And Sullust is a previously unexplored planet, and it's not been seen visually before. So our ability to work with Lucasfilm to bring this vision and help to add to the Star Wars universe is just a dream come true for us.
We are not skimping on all the Star Wars talk today.
You know what?
What?
Why stop there?
It's true.
Here's a classic review of Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Punch it, Chewie.
Tommy's got his dessert. We're going to talk about Star Wars Battlefront 2. This is for the PlayStation 2, Xbox, and PC. We looked at it on the Xbox. What did you think of Star Wars Battlefront 2?
I have a whirly pop.
You do. And we're going to put that away so we can focus on the game. What did you think of Star Wars Battlefront 2?
Well, I mean, here it is. I mean, I don't think there's ever been a game that creates more of that environment and ambiance of being in the Star Wars universe better
I think so too.
than this game.
And especially this year, they've added all of this new graphic polish and shine.
Right.
It's all kinds of beautiful blooming and awesome lighting effects. Like creatures that are just part of the indigenous planet will run around and get in your way, or they'll come and attack you and you have to shoot them. Now the really big news this year is, of course, that you can play as Jedis. Last year the Jedis would come in and they would just plow through your ranks, and you wanted to avoid anybody with a lightsaber, run for your life. This year, if you're a good player in multiplayer, you might earn a chance to be a Jedi Knight and run around and kill people with a lightsaber.
I thought, though, when you said, you know, the biggest improvement this year, you said Jedi, I thought you were going to say the flying,
The
though.
space battles,
Because
yeah.
the space battles, especially in this year, I mean, you get the X-Wings and the A-Wings and the Elemental P-Wings and all that stuff.
And also all the stuff from the current, you know, the most recent trilogy as well. All of those ships are in there.
We don't care about
the
those.
droid ships and all of that
We
stuff.
don't care about
So you get lots of different things, but I love flying in between the Corvettes and the big capital ships, and then you can actually go inside of these big monster Star Destroyers, land your ship, and then run through the guts of the giant ship, blowing up different elements so that you can take it down. Very slick.
But it's really all about the online as well.
Online's great, man.
And the online space battles.
Yes.
Where you're flying around, and there's other multiplayer.
And they fixed a lot of the stuff that people complained about last time. You know, it's easier to find characters, you've got stats, you've got the clans, you've got all of that sort of management stuff that we want out of online shooters. The only thing that I would say that I would really love for it to do is to not load as you're going from the stuff that's on a planet side and then you're going off into space. Imagine if you could hop into a spaceship
right
and
in.
just fly in. I
Yeah.
think we're going to see that in next-gen systems, which is just going to be insane. 9.5 out of 10.
I'm giving it an 8.5.
On the positive side, these are some of the best graphics we've ever seen in the Star Wars universe. All of the online functions have been vastly improved from the previous Battlefront. You get to play as all of the top characters from the Star Wars universe, and you get awesome spaceship battles as well.
On the negative side, who wants to play as a stormtrooper through the single-player mode?
I do.
Who in their right mind cares about any of the new Star Wars films anyhow?
I do.
It would have been super cool to go from ground to space seamlessly. Maybe next time.
I do.
What?
You know, is it just me, or did Vic and Tommy have like zero chemistry? Am I right?
Oh my God, you are so territorial with Vic.
I am not. Hi, Vic.
All right, believe it or not, we've got more, yes, more Star Wars talk after this.
Welcome back to EP Daily. With Star Wars The Force Awakens only about 8 months away, the Star Wars train continues to make all kinds of stops. The latest stop, a new cartoon series called Rebels. Should 3PO warm up all the trash compactors on the detention level? Vic and Marissa have the answer.
There isn't a pilot in the Imperial fleet that can outrun me.
We are going to get an onslaught of Star Wars this year. We're going to have so much Star Wars coming at us. It's just going to be like the receiving end of the title crawl as it's coming towards our eyeballs.
Drowning in Star Wars.
We've been watching Star Wars Rebels. It's an animated show picked up from the embers of the Clone Wars, which both you and I reviewed and loved. Dave Filoni is back at the helm of Star Wars Rebels. Thank God.
Where is the Lasat and the Mandalorian go?
If you won't talk, then my troopers will become a firing squad.
What did you think, Star Wars Rebels?
I don't know. This show has a lot to live up to because I love Clone Wars.
Yes.
I loved Clone Wars. So when I was jumping into this one, I was excited because I love Clone Wars. But as I watched the first episode, I started to think, oh no, this isn't as good as Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Oh no, what am I going to do? I'll just sit through more episodes of this. Victor Lucas, what did you do to me?
Yeah.
And then it starts to get better.
It does start to get better, and it kind of happened that way with Clone Wars as well. And I don't think that what I've seen so far from Rebels lives up to Clone Wars exactly, because I think there was just a creative freedom with Clone Wars that was unbelievably cool, and they also seem to have a larger budget, so the effects were more amazing and the battle sequences were larger. But I sure like the tightness of the storytelling. I like the characters as much as I dig all of the Star Warsiness of it. The thing that I dig the most about this show is that it reminds me of Firefly. It reminds me of the smallness of this crew stuck on one ship, going on one adventure after another, splitting off into different teams and groups.
Well, that's what this show is. For children, this is for Disney XD, but adults can enjoy this too. I feel like even more so than the children because there's a lot of intrigue here. There's a lot of politics happening that you need to get involved in or need to wrap your head around. And there's this kid that is so interesting because he's got all of this wonder and excitement, but he's got the Force. It's strong within him.
And the angst, because he's got a pretty dire backstory. You're also going to see a lot of obvious connections to past Star Wars characters. Lots of little cameos will appear throughout this. And the thing that I always have a problem with other Star Wars stuff that isn't from the films, and this even happened in the movies, is that they echo the best parts of Star Wars over and over and over again. I'm a bit done with it's not my fault, you know? Or I've got a bad feeling about this.
Sounds like someone I used to know.
There's just so many allusions to things that we are also intimately familiar with. I want there to be more stretch in all of the new Star Wars stuff that's coming to create its own identity. I do love the villain in this show called the Inquisitor, who is a little Darth Maul fused with Darth Vader.
Played by Oscar Isaacs, and he knows how to play bad guys.
It's really, really great stuff. I think he does a fantastic job with that.
He does. Freddie Prinze Jr. is also in this. Just thought I'd throw that out there. And he is a big gamer. He's a big geek, and I feel like he definitely should be involved in a project like this.
He's Kanan the Jedi, and he's teaching Ezra Bridger the Padawan. And that relationship and that dynamic is really cool. And then you've got Tara, who is this awesome pilot who understands all of the flight systems beautifully.
All of these things, really.
Sabine, the Mandalorian, kind of Boba Fett-like bounty hunter-esque. And when they nail it like this, it underlines why we care about this property.
I wouldn't say they nailed it, but they came pretty close. What are you scoring Star Wars Rebels?
8.5.
Oh, okay, it's getting an 8 from me.
Mark my words, that is probably not the last Star Wars thing we see today. or tomorrow or the next day. Coming up next, a Twitter question after the break.
If you want more EP, go to our website, epn.tv, for bonus content and full episodes. We're also on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to EP Daily. It's time now for the best part of today's show. That's right, it is the Twitter question of the day. This one comes from Ryan. He's at Rival_. He asks, who won the trailer wars? Batman vs. Superman, Ant-Man, Star Wars, or Fantastic Four? I like how we threw the Fantastic Four in there because I just watched that yesterday. And I thought it wasn't bad.
I feel like these are landmark moments, though.
Yeah.
Everybody that we know, whether you work on the show or don't work on the show, everybody has an opinion. Everybody has got to have seen these trailers.
Yes.
I got home from New York just yesterday. I sat down last night and I watched Star Wars and I watched Superman versus
Did you get the
Batman.
tingles?
You know, the thing is, I kept waiting. I wanted to feel the tingles, and I wanted to think about, what Ben Affleck looks like as Batman, and I wanted to see, if Zack Snyder can do this new movie. And I don't know, like it creates more questions for all of us, but very interesting questions.
Exactly, which is the point of these trailers.
Yeah.
So I did enjoy all of them, but I'm going to have to give it to Star Wars. I think Ant-Man comes second, then Batman vs. Superman, then Fantastic Four.
I'm going to
That's
go
my
with
order.
Ant-Man for me because
liked
of,
it.
well, Paul Rudd. I just
I know,
love
I
so
love him.
much.
He's the
so
best.
Are you friends still?
He hasn't accepted my Facebook friend request yet. Listen, EP Daily is done for another day, but we got full episodes, extended interviews, previews, reviews, and everything else we do all at epn.tv.
And did you have fun today? Well, you can have fun again tomorrow. We've got a story that we're working on all about the new Godzilla video game.
Ooh.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye.
EP would like to thank its sponsors, Nintendo, Xbox. EP's mobile coverage is brought to you by GameLock, makers of Dragon Mania Legends, which you can play for free right now.
Talk to me about this game. How exactly do the mechanics work?
Yeah, so basically you play as Godzilla. And another thing that's cool is you actually get to play as the other Godzillas as well that have occurred through, timeline. So there's also the Hollywood Godzilla, which some people are familiar with. But in this demo here today, we're actually showing the OG Godzilla. So if you want to be the original gangster Godzilla, this is your chance.